Hello algebra students, welcome to Mrs. Bandu's Math Movies. This is lesson 2-1, adding rational numbers. Here we want to add real numbers using models and rules and apply addition. Alright, so our vocab and key concepts are the identity property of addition, which tells us for every rational number n plus 0 equals n, and 0 plus n equals n. Okay, so -5 plus 0 is equal to -5. 0 plus 5 is 5. The inverse property of addition tells us for every rational number n, there is an additive inverse, the opposite of n, or many will say negative n, such that n plus the opposite of n is equal to 0. Okay, so that's n plus the opposite of n written as negative n. So 17 plus negative 17 gives us a sum of 0, and negative 17 plus 17 also gives us a sum of 0. If we are going to be adding two numbers with the same sign, to add two numbers with the same sign, we'll add their absolute values, and the sum has the same sign as the add-ins. So 2 plus 6 is 8. Negative 2 plus negative 6 is negative 8. If we add numbers with different signs, we're going to find the difference of their absolute values. The sum has the same sign as the add-in with the greater absolute value. For example, negative 2 plus 6, you would think 6 minus 2 gives you 4 for your number. 4 is going to be positive because 6 has the greater absolute value of these two add-ins, and it's positive. Here again, we think 6 minus 2 is 4. This time our answer is negative 4 because when I look here, the negative 6 has the greater absolute value, so its sign is negative and it goes to the sum. Okay, an additive inverse is a number's opposite. So like negative 5 and 5 would be opposites, and also additive inverses. The sum of additive inverses is 0. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. Neither has the larger absolute value, so 0 is 0. Okay. Also, we're going to look a little bit at matrices. Matrices is the plural of the word matrix, and a matrix is a rectangular arrangement of numbers in rows and columns. Okay, let me scoot over so you can see the last couple of words. A matrix is a rectangular arrangement of numbers in rows and columns. Okay, next definition is a little bit shorter, and it is an element. An element is simply an item or number in a matrix. So an item in a matrix is an element in our terminology. Okay. All right, let's look at our examples. And here's what earlier was referred to as using a model. We're looking here at a number line. Using a number line to simplify the expression. I realize most of you don't absolutely have to use this, but you should be able to. If you needed to explain addition of integers on a number line, you should be able to do that. Okay, so we want to start with 3 plus negative 5. So we're going to start at 3, right here, and move left 5 units because negative means left. So when I do that, start at 3, move left 5 units, I end up at negative 2, which is the sum of 3 and negative 5. All right, now if I want to do negative 3 plus 5, I'm going to start at negative 3 this time and move right 5 units. So negative 3 plus 5 lands me at positive 2. So negative 3 plus 5 is 2. You should be able to recognize this on a number line, and if needed, show me the graph or using the number line to model this. Not a graph, but to model it. Okay? Simplify each expression. We have 12 plus negative 23. The difference of absolute values is 11 because you have a positive plus a negative. So we take the difference of their absolute values, which is 11. The negative add-in has the greater absolute value, so the sum is going to be negative. So the sum here is negative 11. If I have negative 6.4 plus negative 8.6, since both add-ins are positive, oops, I didn't spell positive right, P-O-S-I-T-I-V-E, positive, add their absolute values. Why did I say positive? Not sure. That should be negative. I'm having a moment here. Sorry, kids. Okay, since both add-ins are negative, we'll add their absolute values, and the sum is going to be negative. I apologize for my momentary brain freeze there. So negative 6.4 plus negative 8.6 is negative 15.0. Okay. Hopefully you're writing in pencil and not pen, so you don't get a messy page like mine. Pen tends to show up better, which is why I use it, but really with math, pencil's your best bet. A scuba diver who is 88 feet below sea level begins to ascend to the surface. Write an expression to represent the diver's depth below sea level after rising any number of feet. Okay, so this is just a model of what we're looking for here. 88 feet below sea level is where you're starting out, plus the number of feet that the diver is going to rise. So let R be the number of feet the diver rises. So what we start out with then is filling in our numbers. 88 feet below sea level would be negative 88 plus R, the number of feet that he's rising, or she. Again, be sure, many of you are in the habit of using capital variables, and generally speaking, we're going to be using lowercase variables. So the expression is negative 88 plus R. Find the depth of the new depth of the scuba diver after rising 37 feet. So negative 88 plus R is equal to negative 88 plus 37, because I'm going to substitute in 37 for R. Simplifying that, I'm going to subtract 88 and 37, and that gives me negative 51. Subtract absolute values. The answer, the sum, has the sign of the larger absolute value. So the diver is 51 feet below sea level. I don't need the negative here because by the way that the answer is phrased, it's accounting for the fact below sea level tells you that is a negative number if you actually want to do any computation with it. And finally, we have a matrix here that we want to add. Okay, basically, to add matrices, we take the elements and match by position and add each element and its partner in the other matrix together. So, for example, I would take the upper left-hand element here, which is negative 6, and add that to 7, which is the upper left hand in the other matrix. 8.6 is the middle element, plus negative 5.4, the middle element in the second matrix. And finally, the third one is 11 plus negative 2. And I repeat the process. So 2.3 lower left plus 11.1 lower left. 5 plus 3, the two middles. And then the lower right, negative 3 plus negative 1. Okay, so I add the corresponding elements. You may or may not need to write it out in such a format. I think it's helpful to write it down because it can get confusing, so you want to be very careful about what you do. Negative 6 plus 7 is 1. 2.3 plus 11.1 is 13.4. 8.6 plus negative 5.4 is positive 3.2. 5 plus 3 gives me 8. 11 plus negative 2 is 9. And negative 3 plus negative 1 is negative 4. Okay, so the resulting matrix has the elements 1, 3.2, and 9 across the top, 13.4, 8, and negative 4 across the bottom. Okay, now you have several quick checks to complete, so be sure you have those ready for discussion next time we meet in class. I'll see you then.